It's been a busy 10 days for the Portland Timbers. Pre-season has begun, the MLS Super Draft has happened, and there's been a bunch of new signings. Yes, welcome back new and returning viewers. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you may be watching from. Something a little bit different from the norm today. As you may or may not know, I tend to do in-depth pre-game, post-game analysis and in-depth player profiles, and I've tended to steer away from being another news outlet, breaking news outlet like Timbers.com, the Oregonian, Stumptown Footy, all the different ones in Portland. You've got Twitter and Reddit as well, and I've stayed away from that, but today I decided to create a video rounding up all the news that has been coming out of the club recently, because there's been a lot of it and into this one video, so I hope you guys enjoy. So where do we begin? Well, let's start by briefly looking at new loan signing Andy Polo. I say briefly as I plan on filming an in-depth video on his player profile and past playing career, so stay tuned to the channel and look out for that in the up and coming days. So the Peruvian winger joins the Timbers on a season-long loan from Mexican side Monarcas Morelia, but also attached to the deal is an option to buy him, permitting good performances of course. He's already played part in over 150 professional games and is still only 23 years old. His nickname is La Joya, or the Jewel, and strikes me as a direct player with speed, quick feet and bags of potential. Let's hope the new head coach Giovanni Savarese can get the best out of him this season. The next bit of news was signing of Timbers Academy product Foster Langsdorf. He joins having just finished a 4-year course at Stanford University and will sign as an MLS homegrown player for the 2018 season. The 22-year-old striker has enjoyed a very successful spell at Stanford, helping the Cardinals win 3 straight NCAA national championships. In his most recent 2017 season, he scored 14 goals in 23 games, making him one of the deadliest strikers in college soccer. He joins the Timbers just a year after Jordan Morris, now Seattle Sounders striker, left Stanford to start his career in MLS. Let's hope Foster can have the same development and game time like Morris has been getting for the Sounders. Speaking of college players, the MLS Super Draft has happened. Unfortunately, the Timbers had some pretty late picks. To be precise, 3 in the 3rd round and 1 in the 4th and final round. Nonetheless, the Timbers selected, and I apologise if I get the names wrong here, defender Caleb Duvernay from North Carolina State, forward Tim Weller from Oregon State, forward Stuart Holterson from the University of Akron, and forward Mamadou Girassi from New Jersey Institute of Technology. Now what tends to happen with late draft picks like this is they'll get thrown in the MLS team's reserve side, for us it's T2, and won't be heard of again. Now let's hope they can prove the doubters wrong. Everyone has to start somewhere and progress and develop as players, and who knows, one day make the first team. In other news, the brand spanking new secondary kit for the 2018 season has been revealed, and my goodness, that thing is looking crisp and clean. It's, to be honest, one of my favourite secondaries kits that we've actually, maybe even my favourite that we've ever had, apart from I think the 2013-14 primary kit season where it had that white little stripe there. I really like that, and the red and the fading red, but nonetheless I really like this kit. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you'll be picking one up from the Timbers store. Going back to college players now, and the Timbers on the 23rd of January acquired the MLS homegrown player rights for 20-year-old midfielder Eryk Williamson from DC United in exchange for $100,000 in general allocation money in 2018, $100,000 in targeted allocation money in 2019, a 2018 international spot, and a natural second round pick in the 2020 MLS Super Draft. Williamson joins the Timbers off the back of 3 seasons at the University of Maryland, recording 14 goals and 13 assists in 58 appearances. In 2017, he was named the Big Ten Conference's Midfielder of the Year, quite a prestigious award to win, and he was also heavily involved in the US national side under-20s campaign in the Under-20 World Cup, where they reached the quarter-finals. From what I've been seeing and hearing of Williamson, he seems like a great addition to the squad. He is still very young and has lots of potential, and if he lives up to it, then could end up being an absolute bargain for the Timbers. He played centre midfield, but I think his most dangerous position is centre attacking mid, as he can really find that key killer pass in the final third, and has also got an eye for goals.
Marlon Fossey, and it's Dominguez clearing it out, recovered again by Williamson. Another shot from outside, one of the most beautiful goals of the tournament. Eryk Williamson, 2-0.
But as we all know, the centre attacking mid role is obviously occupied by MLS MVP Diego Valeri. However, with Valeri being 31, in 2 to 3 years Williamson might have a spot to compete for. By then he'll be 22-23 years old and hopefully have some MLS minutes under his belt. In my opinion, he's one to look out for going ahead. Moving on to the 24th of January when the Timbers signed 2 new players and re-signed another. That re-signing was 22-year-old Kiwi international Bill Tuiloma. He spent the whole of his playing time last year with T2, making 11 appearances and scoring 2 goals. He did make it onto the bench a couple of times for the first team during our injury worries last year, but again, if I feel like we don't have any injury worries this year, which with the Timbers seems unlikely, but if we don't, I find it hard that he'll break into the first team again, specifically at that right back spot when you've got Alves Powell and then Valentin as well. You know, who knows though, hopefully he'll progress. I did see that he captained quite a few times the T2 side last year, so who knows, he'll be pondering around the first team, but good luck to him. And if you don't really know who he is, go and check out my Who is Bill Tuiloma video that I filmed quite a few months ago. I'll link in the description below, so go check it out if you've got a few minutes spare. So let's take a look at the first of our 2 newest signings, Andres Flores. The 27-year-old midfielder from El Salvador is reunited with new head coach Giovanni Savarese after the two had a very successful 4-year spell at the New York Cosmos together. From 2014 to 17, Flores made 83 appearances for the Cosmos, recording 10 goals and 18 assists and helping the club win 2 NASL titles. On the field, I see Andres being a solid backup for CDM's Diego Chara and David Guzman, as well as possibly replacing Diego Valeri as he tires towards the end of games. So on to the other signing, and it's 23-year-old Modou Jadama. The Gambian joins the Timbers off the back of a season in the USL for the Tulsa Roughnecks. During the 2017 season, the 6'1" centre-back made 34 appearances, 32 starts, and got on the score sheet twice. He provides great depth at the centre-back role and is far younger than the likes of Ridgewell, Olum and Mabiala. New head coach Gio had his say on the 3 signings, stating, "Adding these 3 players to our team will provide quality competition at a number of positions, and we are pleased to welcome them to the club for the 2018 season." I feel like this sentence could be used to summarise most of the signings so far. They're depth fillers. Now I'm going to put up on the screen a spreadsheet, or a squad spreadsheet, made by Chris Reifer on Twitter, so all credits to him, and I'm going to read off my notes because I have a lot written down that I wanted to say, and it's easier just to read them off my notes. When you look at this and see the players that Gio has inherited through Porter, I don't think the starting 11 will change an awful lot if he sticks to the 4-2-3-1 formation. The only change should be Polo at the right wing position. And we know that starting 11 is capable of making the playoffs. Heck, it's capable of winning the Western Conference. I feel with these new additions, we've learnt from last year in that depth is key, and as it seems like the lack of it and underperforming in the playoffs, change page, is what let us down. So I asked the question, do we need to sign anyone else? Well, in my opinion, no. There's talk of signing Justin Moram, a left winger from Columbus Crew, with a hefty price tag, but in my opinion, we should just keep the money and progress players like Jack Barmby and Victor Arboleda, and after all, we have Blanco there on the left wing, and he does the job fairly nicely, and if we need him, he can come in centre attacking mid, or we've got now depth in centre attacking mid if Valeri or someone like that gets injured. Another rumour was that was of us signing 19-year-old Christian Paredes, a midfielder from Paraguay. This would make more sense as we have an aging midfield that in a few years' time will need replacing. Plus we have the pre-season games to look forward to, giving the new depth players a chance to make a case for the starting positions, and until we've seen the new squad play in Tucson and in these games against other MLS side, I just feel like we don't need any new additions. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Shall we see how the preseason goes and then look to sign some new players depending on how these new players and the new depth players perform, or should we get them in now, any new players, and then see how they play throughout preseason? I don't know, it's a bit of a tricky one. What would you guys do if you were Gio and if you were Gavin Wilkinson, the general manager? Let me know in the comments below. Where would you improve, or who would you get and in what position? So yes, that is going to bring an end to today's video. It's taken an absolute age to film this yet again. It's so annoying. I don't know why these take so long to film. I think it's because I do a boatload of research and write it down and try and memorize it. If I read off like a script like that, my goodness, it would be so easy, but I don't want to kind of just constantly stare at a piece of paper. But nonetheless, it's filmed now and I've got hours to edit it. So yeah, it's been a difficult one to film, but I hope you guys have enjoyed it and hopefully it's not long. I hate making videos so long because I know it's pretty boring to watch me for about 8 minutes, but I try and maybe that's when I split them into part 1s and 2s. But let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. Leave it a thumbs up if you did and let me know in the comments below, and subscribe for more weekly Timbers content. always helps me keep motivated. You know, the progression on the channel and the growth has been immense recently, so thank you so much as always, and I will see you in the next one, which will be an Andy Polo. Who is he? Taking a look at his background, his past playing career, and I'll upload that in the next few days. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.